Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Brave Space. Today, we have a very important, not easy topic. It is how to heal from sexual abuse and sexual violence and regain your female power.
I got the feeling that this is gonna be my day. Let's go to the brave space.
And for this topic, I have a very dear special guest. Her name is Eva Andriessen, and she's based in the Czech Republic. She is a relationship coach for many, many years and expertise in this field. And she has worked with many women who have encountered these kind of traumatic experiences. So welcome, Eva. It's so lovely to talk to you. And also Eva has been my relationship coach for many, many years. We've worked together, and I appreciate her very much as a coach, but also as a wonderful human being.
Hello, Laila. Thank you so much for your invitation. And I am so glad that we can open up this topic because it's so important to talk about sexual abuse. Because there are so many people keep their pain inside, hide it, and suffer. And it's pity because you can thrive in your life if you overcome your trauma or your sexual abuse. Thank you for your invitation.
You're very welcome. So, why is this topic important to me? I have experienced sexual abuse and violence several times in my life. One was as a teenager when I was 14, but also when I was working as an actress. There were several experiences that were very abusive to me as a young woman, and that had a very traumatic effect on me and how I shaped my personality later on. So it is time to shift this and speak about this, be more conscious and heal these wounds so people can bend back to their beautiful and truthful self. So, Eva, as you have worked with so many women, what would be the most wounds these women would have after such experiences?
Yeah, before we go to talk about wounds, I would like to say that the sexual abuse is more widespread than we can even realize. Some people even don't realize that it's so common in our society. So different statistics, different statistics shows that it's approximately about 650 million girls and women worldwide experience sexual violence as children. It's incredible. And I can see it so often in my coaching practice because they hide it for so many years, and probably it's like 1 of 5 women or girls experience something like this. It's the high number, so it's so important to talk about it because it's unbelievable that the children or girls can experience it from their older brothers, fathers, relatives, uncles, granddad. It's what I experience actually with my clients in my practice. And so what people experience within themselves, it's profound. It's really shifting their identity. And I would say that if it's happened to you as a child, you already create beliefs about you, but even if it happens later in your life, because if somebody is violent to you, it's stressful experience and it's traumatized experience. And what is really interesting also for me to realize that also rape within marriage was considered as a criminal offense for example, in the Czech Republic from 1962, in Austria from 1989, and in the UK from 1991. Before, women were taught that they just should pleasure their husbands. It's their job. And I'm so happy that it's changing in our society, that we talk about it more, and many more people can actually share about it, because in past People were only in shame and just didn't say about it. So if we name what is the biggest profound wounds, it's probably I feel broken or dirty or unworthy of life or of love. Yeah, so for example, when I work with my clients, I remember one client who said that she's dirty, that she feels so dirty that she even can't imagine that she will be clean again. Yeah, so, and she felt, some women feel like that they are damaged. The belief inside is I am damaged, I am broken, and they feel so shameful and they think that they can't have a relationship. Some of them feel that it's their fault because they are bad. Yeah, they believe that they are bad and they should knew it or run away, or they shouldn't go that way. That if they didn't behave in some way or didn't look at some way, it wouldn't happen. So there is a lot of blame and shame inside. Some people can say to themselves that they don't expect love anymore or respect. So like they sometimes feel that it never be the same, that they just can't have any nice relationship, that their life is over. So there is so much what is happening inside, in their identity, in their beliefs, and in their patterns, which are affected by the beliefs in their relationships.
If you can you say it more specific? How does such a traumatic experience a woman in her daily life?
Yeah. So, for example, what we discovered with my client, who was actually sexually abused by her grandfather, she found out that she can't trust men. So when we look back, she realized that she married her husband only because she wanted to have children. She didn't really see that time, but when she looked back, she realized that there was like sexual attraction, but there was not emotional connection. And she realized that she can't trust men to have both with men, physical attraction and also like emotional connection. Yeah. So for her, she couldn't have a relationship. After her divorce, she couldn't have proper relationship because she was always creating emotional connection or intimacy. But she wasn't satisfied. She was like lost in her relationships. So till she find out what really happened, and she created it. It's first about trusting herself. I can trust myself. I can connect with myself. I can connect with myself in all ways. Then she was able to connect with others. It always starts with us. The healing starts with us. Yeah. So it happened for this client. If I remember different client, actually she was abused by her older brother when she was actually abusing for some time. I think it was about 1 year. She was 8 and her brother was 14. And actually one day her mother found out and she blamed her, that it's her fault. Not her brother, but her, that she allowed it, that she shouldn't allow it. And her mother even told her that she will be punished by devil. And actually, when she got her first menstruation, her mother didn't tell her what is it. So she was thinking that the devil is punishing her. So it was so painful experience for her.
Wow.
And her life was affected by that she couldn't trust people, that she was very successful in her job, but she was workaholic, alcoholic. She really couldn't cope in her relationships. She was avoiding relationship or had quick sexual relationships. And it takes a long time of healing.
So it has
to really be.
Yeah. So it has huge effect on how you create relationship, especially towards men, but also towards other people, because when you say something like all the blame it was put on her, then she gets a even more like negative relationship with herself that can lead to that doesn't trust other people and doesn't speak about it, which is what I wanted to come back to before, because you said it before. In our culture is it starts to change, but it was a lot that women had to deal with the traumatic effect, what happened, but they had no supporting system to deal with it. So they couldn't turn themselves towards someone and treat their wounds. They were totally left alone. Nowadays, we're very lucky that we start having a look at these things, and there is support out there. So
There is, yeah, there is much more support now, but still people feel shame and guilt a lot. So, for example, not many people report it. Usually, you find it out or discover these wounds through, for example, when you feel unsuccessful in your relationship and you are very unhappy or you can't deal with relationships, you come to therapist or coach, and then we find out in our sessions what happened to them as a children or as a teenagers or adults, and it's very hidden wound sometimes. They just don't sometimes even don't know how big effect it has in their lives, because if it happened when they were children, they try to hide it. They are sometimes even try to forget about it, so they dismiss it or ignore it because it's too painful. Yeah, and yeah, Laila.
Yeah, I can I'm open to share my experience. When I was 14, 15, and this happened to me. It happened to me in a foster home, in a Jaus home. And the management, they saw they found it out, and nobody talked to me. Nobody came to me. It was silenced. It was they hid the whole situation because the image was more important to them. And often it is like this, that people don't talk with the victims. They're left alone. And so I remember precisely how I didn't get a mirror on. I couldn't judge the situation myself. Was this right, wrong? I couldn't name it, because also about sexuality, there was no talk in the foster homes, either in the foster homes or at my home. There was not an open talk about all of these things, which is the foundation that you can name it as a young person, which I do it with my daughter now. We talk about all these things because the doctor, she said to me, you have to talk and name these things. So she's able, when something happens that is not okay, to name it. So she has got to choose. But also it needs a surrounding that mirrors the situation in a truthful way. So that didn't happen to me. It was silenced, and then there were some actions, and it was only actions towards me. So I got the impression that it was all my fault, and I somehow doubted that it happened. It sucked into my unconsciousness, and it still feels like somehow a dream to me. You question yourself, you start questioning your own senses. Yeah. So you're in a very, very fragile relationship with yourself.
Yeah, it's you went through dissociation because it was safer for you to dissociate from the event. Yeah, if people were dismissing what happened to you, you just was starting to wondering if it's really true. And it's so painful because you felt alone in that situation. You felt that nobody is there for me, and you could build very big trauma through this. Yeah, because when nobody is there for us when we really need it, it's so scary and painful. Yeah, and
I took all the guilt, and as you know from me, and I shared it openly with you, that from that time on, I created, let's say, sexual-free identity about myself. Like I cultivated a self-image of the good student. I didn't discover my sexuality as a young teenage girl. I totally avoided it. And I would even go into a more masculine energy, like doing sports that are more masculine and dress in a way that are more masculine. So
Yeah, it was your protection. Yeah, you protect yourself by this way to avoid another pain. And it's so common with women that they do something like you did. Because it's the best way how to protect. You never didn't see any other way at that moment.
true.
Yeah.
So yeah, we named the wounds.
And I would like also to add my experience. Because sometimes what I also see with my clients, that they are considering if it was really abuse or not. Because, for example, what happened to me when I was about 30 years old, I went for a date, and the guy was friend of my friends. So I quite trusted him. I didn't consider that he would want to sex in the first date. And he invited me to his apartment, because he told me, oh, it might be calmer in my apartment than in the bar. And I said, yeah, it's true. And he started to want to have a sex, and I was saying no. But I allowed it to happen. And then I was so much in guilt how I could allow it to happen. I didn't want that. I was saying no. But then later on, I realized that I had the stress response freeze, that my body completely froze, that I couldn't move. And when we have like trauma response or stress response, usually we have like somebody has fight, they go to fight, or fly, they move away, run away. And I was like asking myself, why I didn't run away? Because my trauma response is freeze. So I couldn't run away actually. I just was like pinned in my body.
Yeah, but the no should have been enough. A no is enough.
Definitely, it should be enough. Is the reason I know that it was abuse. But then I was also doubting myself because I could run away. But because he wasn't holding me, yeah? But I wasn't able because of this trauma response or stress response. So sometimes people or women can doubt themselves, blame themselves because they allowed it to happen. But the thing is that if you say no and they continue, it's still abuse, as you said. Because you said no and you repeated no. And when you freeze, you just can't do anything. It's just horrifying that we're sometimes stuck in that freeze. And some people might even stuck in, we call it in English, fawn, like that in people pleasing. So that they start to please the abuser. Like sometimes the abuser said, oh, but she was smiling at me because she was in that fawn moment. Like her stress response is the fawn to please others. Because if they please others, they feel that, okay, they will not, nothing really bad will happen. They think that it will keep them safe. Yeah. So sometimes we don't understand like what is happening with us. But usually that freeze or fawn response is of people who were trained as a good girls. You have to listen to our orders. You have to be good girl. You can't have your opinion. Or that girls were already abused by their parents by screaming or shutting them down, not paying attention to their needs. Yeah, so it's usually developed from their children, from their childhood. What like this stress responses.
Yes, it's not easy to grow a healthy woman in our society.
Yeah. Luckily, it's getting better. I heard that there are some organizations, for example, in Canada, when they train the boys how to behave to women, how they should behave. And I think there's also more sexual like education now at the schools. So I hope that it's improving, but it's still happening. Yeah.
It is still happening. That's true. So yeah, we named a few wounds like damage, feeling damaged or broken or very dirty, and blaming and shaming, and which is the soul or the psychic level. But it also have a huge effect. It has a huge effect on the body and
Definitely.
the body language. For me, example, like I started to hide my female parts, and I started to I still have my shoulders like this, and to not seek eye contact, which I associate somehow as like when I'm looking at a man, it's kind of an invitation. And I also had a lot of tension in my body from the stress and the yeah, kind of like the fear of this that someone is going to violate my boundaries again. So yeah, it has huge effects on your body and your soul.
Definitely, it has a very big effect on that levels, like you said, mind, soul, and body. Just sometimes people feel like detached from their body, or they don't love their bodies. Like women like stop like their feminine parts because of the trauma response. Yeah, they try to shield itself, like that they just put big clothes on them, for example, or just ignoring the physical sensations. It causes a lot of anxiety, for example. Yeah, so like the body is in the tense all the time. Like sometimes, especially after the abuse, they have problems to sleep or relax because they feel that it might happen again, or where is the person who did it to me. So it can go to anxiety and panics, and they might be really in big tension. So it's so important to release all this tension from their bodies, because they might stay in this tension for years if they don't deal with it. Yeah, because it usually really affects the body in many ways. And if they believe that they are damaged, so then actually they can't see their body as a worthy as well, because they feel that also their body is damaged. Not only that they are damaged in like inside, like the psychologically damaged, but also their body. Yeah, and it's really hard to go through this to really to create back what does it mean to be feminine. Yeah, because usually, as you said, people after sexual abuse, they avoid sexual contacts, they avoid the touching, they avoid even touch from the friends because it's scary for some time. So it can create a little bit confusion, and also it can create distance between people. They might feel really alone in that situation because they feel, oh, nobody understands me, nobody knows what I went through, so they distance. Yeah, so also like physically distancing. So there are so many things that are happening with the body, like even chronic pains, headaches, or digestive problems, sleep problems. So sometimes it's much more deeper than we can even imagine.
Yeah, I remember like, yeah, and it's so on so many levels that you don't know it. So for many years, I woke up regularly at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I didn't know why. I had a good sleep, but I woke up at 3 o'clock. And later on, it was the time when I hit a wall in my life and I had to face what happened back then when I was 14. And it hit me like, it hit me so in my face. At 3 o'clock, this man came into my room. And so I wake up at 3 o'clock, and it's so, it's incredible what happens to you. And I also like, we will immediately swap to healing, because I want to say there is a path to healing and healing is possible. But I want to share also that my reaction to this trauma was not immediately when I was 14, 15, because I didn't understand it back then. The time when I had the trauma was the time when I realized what happened, because I functioned as like, when this happened and this man came into my room at 3 o'clock in the morning, and you know what, at 6 o'clock I stood up and I had my test and I wrote an A. I was an A student. I didn't realize it, but then when I ended up in my end 20s in a violent relationship. And this is where I hit the wall in my life, and I had to go back in all my childhood and look for the wounds. And then I discovered it. And then all the stuff came at one time, and it was a very, very heavy reaction. And to be honest, it was so horrible. Not that at times, when I was going through this, and I had a really good therapist, and she was holding my space, and I'm so grateful for her. And I knew this is not going to last forever. I knew I had her. But when this all came up, really, I thought, when I went to bed, I thought like, I want to go to sleep and I don't want to wake up again. And it was so horrible to live in my body. My skin, it was not burning, but it felt like burning. I wanted to, it was so painful. I wanted to rip off my skin. So I want to share, like, for people who cannot understand what happens to a woman or a young woman that experiences this. Is so painful to live inside your body with this. But healing is possible. I went through this and I overcame it. I want to ask you, you have experience with a lot of women, and I want to ask you, when do you think is the time the women choose to seek help and choose they want to heal from this?
So the time, if it's possible, the best is immediately or afterwards, when it happens. Yeah, but as you said, sometimes you don't realize what happened to you. You realize it after you open the wound, as you did. Because when you open the wound, which was covered but full of mucus, yeah, and you open the mucus so everything goes out, and then it has effects like you were sharing. So usually people needs to find, like, it's good if they find the help as soon as possible afterwards, but also when they realize later, anytime they realize it, it's always good to deal with the problem. Usually people goes to therapy or for coaching when they are struggling in their lives. Yeah, when they struggle with their lives or in their relationship, they can't have relationship, or they suffer in their relationship, or they have always like narcissistic relationships. They start to question what happened to them. What is there in them that they attract this kind of people, that they have, like, for example, avoiding partners or alcoholics or abusers. Yeah, so it's usually the time when people seek for the help, when they struggle. But so is the time.
Yeah. And from my point of experience, from my point of view, this is how I chose it. And I think it's really necessary that you seek, when this happens to you, that you seek professional help from a psychotherapist and a psychiatrist.
Yeah. I also say that it's when the trauma, it's really huge, and when it's open up, it's important to go to the therapist or psychologist. When I am a coach, I had a lot of teachers also who were therapists, so they taught me also some therapeutical tools. But I always know where is my boundary, and if it's the trauma is too big, I always send the clients also to therapist. Sometimes it's good to work together because we have different tools. Yeah, therapist has different tools, and also I as a coach has different tools, but I also can look back to what happened. I can support people to transform their inner beliefs and the wounds in different way than therapists. So I think that it's supportive sometimes to have, when we are in the biggest pain, it's always better to go first to the therapist, as you did, Laila, and later on you can have also support of relationship coach. I think it's very supportive because of one of my teachers told that therapy saved their life, but coaching changed her life.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
So I feel the same way.
Yeah. And I think, when you're in this situation, and it's so important you get all the help and the support that is possible. And of course, coaching might not be affordable for everyone. But as you say, the therapy is, for me, it was at the very much beginning, and there were things that happened that I was so silenced. I was sitting with my therapist. I couldn't even name it. It took me years to name it. I couldn't name it, and not because it was not in my brain. I'm not used to this because I have a master's degree in international economic, and I'm like I'm used to talking and taking exams, and if you ask me something, I'm giving you a response. But it was not in my head. It was just a fog in my head. So I think in this state, a therapist is really necessary, and I would also be very careful with what therapist you choose, because it really has to be the right chemistry.
Yeah, definitely. There must be a huge trust.
Yes.
Big trust.
Yes.
Because without big trust and great safe container, you can't actually open. You can't heal the trauma.
Yes.
So I also help few women after the abuse because they trusted me. They didn't want to go to psychologists. So I told them that I'm a coach, but they wanted to do it with me. And it happened that I really helped them. That we find ways how to heal inside, how to be okay to walk again on the street, how to start to trust themselves. We were working with their wounds and beliefs to really get back to their lives. So yeah, it's the trust between the client and knowing also that where are my boundaries and where is the line. If she wouldn't be okay to deal with, when I will be not okay to deal with, for example, if her trauma is too big or panics or anxiety too high, that I will have to send her again anyway to therapist. Yeah, so yeah, it's also really important trust and how you can work with that people. So if you go to therapist and you don't feel safe, it's better to go to different person.
Yes. When just an experience, memory comes to my mind, and I know a lot of therapists work like this, that they put the clock in front of them, so it's usually 45 or 50 minutes, and they put the clock in front of you, so you know when the hour is gone. But if you talk about such a deep stuff, it's like, for me, it was putting me under such a pressure. How can I open up, and time is running? It was really, really stressful. And so, yeah, like my trauma therapist, Ingrid, she's really a saving angel. And I decided to do 2 hours in one go. So I really had the time and the space to open up and do also exercises that were really helpful. Yeah. So, exercises and tools. Eva, would you like to share some of your techniques and tools that you use when you work with women who have such traumatic experiences?
Yeah, I teach them that they need to be really gentle with themselves, and that the process can be quite long. They can't take the pressure on themselves and just deal with the moments. Yeah, because sometimes they are stuck in some thoughts or some feelings. So what we are doing is some feelings and needs exercises, that they are able to connect and name the feelings, because they might experience a lot of different feelings, but when they name them, they calm down, their system calm down, right? Because the feelings are created in limbic part of brain, and if we don't name it, it doesn't go to prefrontal, yeah, and we just are stuck with the feelings, and it's getting bigger and bigger. So it's so important to name the feelings. I am teaching also some breathing techniques, like how to breathe, how to soothe themselves, because for some people it's okay to do breathing techniques, like for example to the four square, like square, yeah, breathing. Or sometimes it's important that they hug their arms, for example. Yeah, that they hug their arms, and sometimes they just move from side to side to calm themselves down. So if we are finding the ways, what will be the best for them to calm down if they are in that strong emotions. And also we go through validation and acceptance of what is happening, and it's again the process, because they need to get that the biggest pain is not what happened to them, but the story what they are created about to what happened to them, like that they are dirty, that somebody touched on them. They have the story, and we need to rewrite the story to story which will not be painful to you anymore. And it's long process, and it's not linear process. It's a lot of up and downs, and it's okay, and it's important to name it for that people, because sometimes they create a pressure, they are so like from ashamed, like it takes so long time, they go to critics to criticize themselves, and punish themselves because the blaming and shaming, and I teach them how to be gentle, how they should create a gentle talk inside. What is really important to also write their diary, that they can write how they feel, what they can acknowledge themselves for, how they care about themselves, how they pamper themselves, because how can create the connection back with themselves, because usually they disconnect from themselves to not to feel the pain. Yeah. So what is also part of it is forgiveness, because it's mostly about forgiving themselves that it happened to them, maybe forgiving to the life as well, or to the God, because it's also the process. It takes some time. They need to release a lot of stuff. So I am also coaching them and teaching them how to release the pain or suffering on daily basis. Yeah. Usually I am in contact with them also on WhatsApp if they need some assistance or some support, because there are small steps. We can't do any jumps. We can't sort it out quickly. We need to be really patient, and they need to be patient with themselves, because the confidence and self-kindness and self-love we need to build back. Yeah, we need to build back that they are worthy of love, that they are lovable, that they are good enough.
Yeah.
We also I work also with deep processes when we are transforming that identity. Sometimes we are using the affirmations, for example, like knowing that they are good enough already. Yeah, that they are clean, they are beautiful. Yeah. Because to get the truth, the people didn't change them. It's just in their thoughts mostly. Yeah. And also sometimes they feel it physically. So it's work on many levels. When I do the deep processes on shifting their identity, we work out of with their bodies to really feel where is the trauma based, where is the biggest pain based, how to release it with the body, and what new possibilities they can create. So yeah, I use many different tools, depends on that uniqueness of that person, because I'm always listening to their needs and to what they really need in that moment.
Wow, this is so important and this is so kind of you. Only a few people would do that. And my therapist, she did that for me too. She was available on WhatsApp every day. I had times where really like, because this was also my biggest wound. It was that I was always alone. I didn't have a connection with my mother. I didn't have a connection to any caretaker, whatever. She was the first person who showed up for me every day for 10 years. And this
Wow.
really is like, she changed my life. I'm so grateful I have met her. And throughout this journey, she has all made this with me together. And I remember that I tried to I'm a very active person. I don't like to feel powerless. Like I'm going into action taking. Like it's very hard for me to sit with this, to accept and sit with this. But what I also did is like I cut all my contacts, my social contacts. I was so ashamed that I felt so bad. I couldn't function anymore. I didn't go to work anymore because I was not accepting any male figure 10 meters beside me. So I was not functioning anymore. I was not the strong Laila anymore. So I told no one except my therapist. She was my sparring partner for years. But I remember this. I remember this moment so well. It was February when I went into in the office where you change your name officially. And I explained to them why I need this. And they did it without any comment. And
Wow.
yeah. And I don't know. And I had to think a lot of why did I choose Emma? And then I later on found the link that my mom once she gave me a little duck, a toy, a fluffy toy, and the name was Emma. And so I had a positive connection to this name, and somehow I was like taking every positive energy, any positive memory I had inside, I took it to rescue myself. And I had days where I just felt like all the darkness around me, I couldn't get rid of it. And a cup of tea would save my day, because it, like, you really have to be careful to find your joy and your power and your positive energy in all this dark energy around you. So yeah, it's a long journey. It's painful, but it's possible. And it's step by step you regain your power and you regain your boundaries. I had to reestablish my boundaries. I know how much overcoming myself it took me to go to an open yoga class. And I remember so well this situation with a man who dropped his leg on my yoga mat. And I was like, fuck, this is my space. I was like inside, I was exploding. He was violating my boundary. But step by step, yeah. And I told him, can you please, I created the voice, I created my boundaries, and I fought myself back into my life. So, yeah. So step by step, you take new positive experiences and you feed yourself from it. And you recreate, rebuild yourself step by step, very consciously.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
As you said, it's about rebuilding yourself back by step and reclaiming your power and femininity. Because sometimes I also record for women recordings or meditations to support them to really connect back to their light, connect back to their true self, to connect to, for example, if they feel dirty, to their cleaning, to feel clean again. So I send them recordings with the meditations or supportive messages. They can listen every day. Some clients listen to it many times a day, and they find it very supportive because it's also, as you said, about small steps. And every session opens up something new, and I'm always there to support the client in that moment. And for example, if it's important, I even record for after the session the personalized recording for them to have something what they can work with all week or some exercises. Yeah, because they need to know that the light inside them, might be small, that it can shine and light again. And it's so important to see that, yeah, it's possible to shine. And also what is sometimes it's reconnecting with their body through mirror, for example. They might start with their face, to watching their face or their eyes. I later know they can reconnect and really love their body again, step by step. Again, it's a process which is quite slow. We can't push it, but it's so freeing when they can see themselves naked in front of the mirror and accept and loving their bodies. Yeah, so there are many ways how to support their way. And also what is important for women to know, what is healthy sexuality and what is healthy relationship. How does it look like? We name it, what is possible for them. And knowing that they have the choice who can touch them and how they touch them. Yeah, because if they know, even inside, not only like knowing it, but deeply inside, that they have the right to choose, they have the right confidence to decide. It's so important for their self-confidence, self-beliefs, and self-love.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like I want to just a short comment on the body. For me, I did yoga, I did meditations, and for me, what helped me enormously was climbing. I started to learn climbing, and first, I took classes with a woman, and she instructed into it, and it was really trusting my body again and trusting another person again. And climbing, when you climb up 20 meters, is really like you need to trust this person. It was so precious to me. It helped me so much. And like you said, this disassociation, you disconnect from your emotions, but you also disconnect then from your body. So I would recommend everyone to really get physical, like seek a sport that you enjoy, and like dancing, like get in touch with your body again, and best with your femininity. You choose something, like dancing. I think it's really useful. I was dancing by myself at home to reconnect with my feelings. I want to comment shortly on creating this safety and safe space, how important this is. So because you're in the survival state, and as long as your mechanism is working, you cannot access the deeper layers to process the trauma and get it out of it. For me, it was safety. It was to find the right person who can do this with me, but also to provide for me financially, like in terms of I had to stop working, but I had to somehow find financial resources to survive. And also I had really selected my friendships. I said to you, like I really needed to feel safe, and I couldn't. It was very cleansing experience. I got rid of a lot of toxic people in my life back then. So yeah, ground. Yeah, yeah.
As you said, create a safety space and environment and safety within you. It's so important in this process, like finding the way how you can feel inside that you seeing that you are a source of your safety. It's again big process. Also seeing who is safe around you. What is your safety person you can go with? It might be your therapist, your best friend, or somebody else. And also, like, you can create safety place. Even it can be visualization, safety place where you go when you feel overwhelmed. It can be like that you find in your visualization, for example, the forest or the seaside or some place you can feel safe and have this visualization, or even create safe space within your home. For example, when you go to your like corner, for example, full of cushions, or to your bed. So it's really important to create that safety around you as well.
Yeah. I also remember that I started like getting in touch with my body. I started I went to massages also with a woman before. Was first with a woman, and then later on I tried the man. So that was my step-by-step approach. But it was really like to sense my body again, and also being touched by someone again. It was very helpful, and to like piece by piece you rebuild yourself. I want to comment shortly on this belief, like being dirty, and how I got over it. I said it in my episode about self-love that I did also hypnosis therapy, and in one hypnosis therapy I could deeply connect with my inner self, and I found really a light. There was nothing dirty. There was just light inside myself, and something that said to me, "You're not broken. No one else can break you, and no one else can take from you. Unless you tell the lie he took something from you, but this lie is this light inside myself. No one can take it away from me. Even if he touched me like this, yeah. So he touched me, but he didn't take away anything from me." And like hypnosis can help a lot, but also I have this meditation where I just close my eyes and I imagine a lot of light flowing into my body, and if I feel dirty anywhere, I just feel like something sucks it out of my body and my aura. And to do it like really every time before you go to bed, like just creative visualization is so powerful. If you can hold it in your head, you can hold it in your hand, and everything you imagine, Picasso said it, everything you can imagine in your mind is real. And so just imagine yourself in a huge white light, sucking out all of this guilt, shame, dirt, blame, and giving it back to the earth, because Mother Earth can take it.
Yeah, it's beautiful visualization. It's what I use as well, or sometimes waterfall. Sometimes some people like to wash everything through the waterfall, and it goes through the river to the ocean, all this shame or guilt or dirt. Yeah, so these are there are beautiful techniques which can be really supportive.
Yeah, so we had a really deep talk, really interesting talk. I think we named the wounds, but we also named that healing is possible, and some tools and some things that are crucial for your journey to healing. And yeah, what I want to post underneath this episode is also some links for helping institutions where you can turn yourself in Austria and the Czech Republic, because you're from Czech and I'm from Austria, and where you can seek support. And yeah, you can always leave a comment, ask a question, and I try to get back to you. And yeah, Eva, is there something you would like to sum up?
Yeah. I would like to say that the healing process that takes some time, but you can get over it. Like, it's not about fighting what to happen, but accepting. Because what you fight, what you resist, it persists in your life. So just be gentle to yourself, accept that it's taking some time, be gentle towards yourself, find the right person to support you in your healing. And really, it's not the abuse, it doesn't need to be your life story. You can create new story, you can create life you really love, because you deserve it. Everybody deserves beautiful life, and you too. So you can shine again, and it's good if you start to believe in this. Even sometimes you might lose that belief, just reconnect and keep creating, because you will be okay one day, definitely.
Yes, that's beautifully said. And yeah, I want to pick up these words and repeat it. Take when this happens to you, go on your journey. Healing is possible. Healing is your birthright. Take back your power and do it like I do. I don't identify at all with this. This is something like, it's like, I don't want to make it, but it's something like, it's like some piece, but I washed it off. It's not part of me anymore. And write your own story like I do. Thank you so much for listening to us. Thank you so much for taking the time and devoting your precious time to yourself to heal and grow and shine.
Thank you, Laila, for your invitation again, and have a beautiful day, everybody.
Yes, thank you so much, Eva, for your time and sharing your wisdom and also your personal story. And I deeply, deeply believe we bring so much healing with this. I deeply believe this can transform people's lives.